Welcome back, friends and neighbors. Got just a little bit of an update and a little tip for you guys. I've been doing a couple of reviews. I did one on the Bond Arms Rough and Rowdy. Did one on Ruger 5.7. Been having a lot of fun with that stuff. This is kind of a combination video on both of those systems. We're going to start out on the Bond Arms. Now, this is something that I discovered while I was cleaning this pistol after I went to the range the other day. Now, obviously, I told y'all about, make it empty, just got off work, the fact that this particular model has a spring-loaded extractor. This runs down the side, helps you extract those rounds. I didn't really notice a very fine point about this extractor until the other day when I was cleaning it. Now, like I said, you'll notice slides back and forth, spring-loaded. Okay. I found something out when I was cleaning it because it has a screw here that holds it in place. Now, at first blush, I thought that screw was more or less mounted solid and that it had some type of plate under it that would help keep a little tension against that extractor arm. On further inspection, when I pulled it out, it turns out that what I thought was a small plate or a dish under that head screw is actually a coil spring. And it's not a straight spring, it's shaped like this. Small parts up there under the head, the big coil, big end, is down there against that plate. Well, I guess that's not too bad if you're not ever going to use it much, but when I went to take that screw out, I discovered something. That screw is not all the way down in that hole. It can go all the way into its hole, but when you do, this bar don't move, and you're going to crush the hell out of that spring. Now, when I pulled that screw and that spring off, I thought that this bar was going to have to basically slide out of a dovetail. You take the screw and the spring off and it falls flat out of a 90-degree on both sides channel. Now, I know it probably works, and if you're not going to shoot it a bunch and carry it a bunch, it's probably no big deal. But if you're going to carry this weapon in a holster or a pouch, and it has the ability to rub that screw, and you go out and shoot, and you're liking it and having so much fun that, hell, you just figure you might as well shoot a whole 100 rounds out of it. I noticed while I was shooting that this arm became just a little easier to move. And I thought, well, it's slicking up some, it's getting fit into place. That screw was just a little bit looser than it ought to be. It was sticking out a little further than it was when I first started shooting. Now that tells me that if you're out shooting and you've handled it and you've carried it, if it vibrates enough, if it loosens up under shooting, it's got nowhere to go but away from the gun. It's spring loaded. If it gets out there to the end of its thread and you fire a shot, it's going to launch itself, and I don't care where you're at. Unless you're in a bowl, you're never going to find it, and the spring as well. Now, the plate, the arm, the extractor arm, it's not going to come off because the end of it's locked in here, but the minute you open it, it will. Now, I don't know who came up or thought that this sophomore 9th grade middle shop class fix, which really I would expect to see on a gun from somewhere, say, I don't know, the Philippines or Borneo, coming out of a shack somewhere built from driftwood and palm fronds, I would kind of expect to see that. But I would think that an American gun maker, especially an American gun maker in the great state of Texas, would probably put a little more thought into this, and I thought about it a little bit, and here's what I came up with. If they redesigned the relief cuts between the barrels so that they could put a dovetail cut in here, and dovetail edged that sliding mechanism, there would be no need for an externally mounted spring-loaded screw. They could replace it with a shouldered plunger with a spring behind it that would fit up in the small channel that that screw rides in. And when you wanted to take it apart, all you'd have to do is just like on the plate at the back of a government model, hold your firing pin in. Push the plunger in, move it over it, cover it, pull the plunger plate off, let it come off in your hand, and it's right there on your cleaning mat. And I don't care how often you shoot it or how often you carry it. It ain't ever going to go anywhere. Now, I know that might add a little bit of price to the manufacturing of it, but I can't figure it be more than $20 or $25, and I'd gladly pay that for the peace of mind of knowing that I'm not going to be out there shooting or pull this damn thing out of my pocket and set a couple of rounds off and lose a piece, because it's not tight. It's held firm by the spring underneath it. Now, you can turn that screw all the way down to that plate and lock it in place, which is just fine really, because you can pull that spring, take that screw all the way down and make sure that that slide never moves, and then all you'd have to do is make you a little tool with a couple of parallel mounted wooden dowel rods like they used to have in the old days. Carry it in your pocket. When you fired 2 rounds, you could open it up, plunk, knock them out. You're good to go. It'd probably be faster than trying to get in there and peek them out with your fingers, whichever way you thought you might want to do it. But this is an open request to Bond Arms in Granbury, Texas. Please do something about this. Please. Because, damn, I mean, no. That's just, what are you thinking? I mean, it's a great gun. It shoots great. It's accurate. It's robust. It does its job. What do you want to put like something like that on the outside for? That don't make any sense to me at all. Okay, so just to let you people know, if you just happen to be thinking about picking one of these puppies up, that's something you're going to have to keep your eye on, because it will loosen up over time. And that spring is just a wire coil spring. All that moving back and forth makes it flex, and that flex creates wear and stress, and that's going to loosen that spring. I really don't know why they did it like that. I really could. There's 2 or 3 different ways you could do it. But so, other than that, I got nothing else to kick about on this pistol. I'm still going to get a set of extended grips, and I'm still going to get that extra set of barrels. But I really wish they would turn this into a dovetail mounted slide with a shouldered plunger spring behind it. And you'd never have a worry again. Anyway, thanks for watching, and now for part 2 of the video. Got that mounting plate. Ruger was out of them for 2 months. They finally got them in. Put that Vortex Venom on it. Cat Daddy. That's going to be fun once you get her sighted in. That's pretty nice. But the main thing I want to talk about right now, got another toy with it. Speed loader. Yeah, they make one for this gun. And it's pretty dang handy when you're loading 20 rounds. I want to show you something about the operation of it, and you want to keep this in mind. Now, obviously, you got your empty magazine. You got the front of it pointed up. Slide it into there. Now, one thing you've got to remember, you can't just push this button and kick them in there. The magazine does not lock into place, so you're going to have to hold it. All right? Which is no biggie. You can get a good grip on it. Does pretty good. And you can put 10 rounds in pretty fast. That's faster than I can load them with my fingers. Alright, now I was playing with this when I first got it. And I thought, hey man, this is going to be Cat Daddy. Now, the slot that you slide your rounds into, that you stand them in, have little small half moon cuts. So you don't just throw them in there, they have to go in the right spot. Now, I tried several times to throw another 10 in. These magazines are brand new. They've never been loaded to max capacity and kept that way for any longer than a few hours. So they're still pretty strong. Those springs are just like they came out of the factory. And maybe over time, as they lose a little bit of tensile strength, the issue I'm getting ready to demonstrate to you might go away. But for right now, with a new magazine, there's something you have to be aware of, and here's a little caveat. Instead of trying to shove another 10 in there, go ahead and put 5 in, because you may or may not experience this. Okay, now that got all 5 in and everything's standing up. So now, we're up to 15 in here. Let's go ahead, try to put that last 5 in there. In fact, let's just go 4. Alright. Now, can't see it from that angle, but I'm going to show you something. Pardon me if I move out of frame. See how those rounds are bunched up? And that one round is sticking up out of there. When I release the pressure off of that, it's going to pop out. So beware when you first get this about that, because I've still got it securely in here all the way to the front. This can happen, and I haven't been able to get 19 rounds in a magazine completely yet without this occurring. Once one of them jacks up like that, you're not going to push anything past it. And when you come out, now you can see you got 3 of them sitting up in there all snaggletooth. So maybe this is going to go away, and this round that's snaggletooth is under these other 2. So, now one handy dandy little thing about this loader that they did put on here, and it's a nice thought. See a tooth back here on the bottom at the back? That's just a handy son of a gun, because you can take it and put it in the groove back here, and this works great for unloading your magazines. No more scarring up your thumb, busting your thumbnail. So that's pretty handy, and I got a feeling, like I said, over time, that issue may go away. But for right now, with extremely tight springs, I haven't gotten this piece of equipment to load 19 or even 18 rounds without an issue. So that's something, kind of look at that, just a caveat. Maybe put it in the back of your mind. You can throw 15 in pretty quick, but you probably ought to put them last 5 in if you're wanting to with your fingers, because damn, I can't wait to go outside this puppy in though. That's going to be nice. Now, that mounting plate, the screws that mount it and hold it down, they already come with a gel type thread locker that is removable. Okay, they're not going to lock it in place and be there forever. You can bring it back out. You will want to torque that plate down to 35 foot-pounds at least. It says 35 to 50. Well, when I got to 35, my knuckles were turning white, so that's a plenty. But I put that Vortex Venom on there, and I'll tell you what, she's sweet. And I can't really wait to get out and rock and roll with that puppy a little bit, because that's going to be badass. That's going to be fun. Alright, well other than that, that's the 2 updates I wanted to give you folks. Let you know about those 2 little things. Like I said, I'm really kind of... And I know, $299, shoot, that's great compared to some of their other pistols that cost $500. And I haven't looked to see if their extractors on those are done differently. But even if this is a rough and rowdy, that's a little too damn rough for my liking. So I'm going to change that, because I know a really good gunsmith. And if I don't want to do that, I still have another method where I can lock that in place and use a Teflon disc, and this will still move, but this screw won't come out unless I want it to. And there won't be any little bitty spring in there to get bound up, because when you move this, it moves that spring back and forth, and you know how it is when you take a coil spring, compress it, and then make one end of it move back and forth. You're not doing anything any good at all. So I'll be fixing that unless they want to just send me a new one. Like I said, this is an open call to Bond Arms. Please do something about that. My God, you make these in the great state of Texas. Now, I lived down there for many years, and I love the state of Texas. And I'm an Okie now. Hey, and I was born in Okie, and I've been here for more years than I've been anywhere else. But I can't believe something coming out of Texas with some type of engineering that looks like it came straight out of Juarez or Nacogdoches. Anyway, you folks have a great day. Thanks for watching. Like I said, keep an eye on those two things. Kind of keep it in the back of your mind when you're doing that. It'll help save you some aggravation. Thank God that that thing didn't pop out of there where I was out there shooting. I mean, if you're somewhere where you've got a nice clean floor or a nice clean mat, you might actually have a chance of finding that screw or that little widget. But if you're like me and you're standing out in that pasture in ankle-high grass and cow crap, forget about it. You're going to be buying another one. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Bye.